Morning, church.
Morning.
God's help, we're going to finish from last week. I was thinking last night, I told Brother Lynn, I was talking, God kind of put me in check, and I seen Brother Lynn reach for his Bible. I thought, oh Lord, I'm going to get spent. And a lot of times we don't think about things. And he mentioned something a while back, and I noticed it to be true, but I guess science, the medical field's even figuring out about it now. He said, you ever notice when you're teaching, you come in and you're in as much pain when you go teaching, you're not hurting at all. And he said, the more we talked about, the more the Spirit that when we walk in, the less of the flesh we're going to feel, the less of the pain we're going to feel. And I was sitting there last night and just talking, he coached me into, he taught me into going. I thought as soon as I said to go, I said, well, I got to go next time Brother Johnny preaches too. That way I don't show respect to persons. And I was sitting there talking, and just in a conversation, they may not have realized the same thing I realized. But in Genesis 9, chapter 22 through 25, talk about Noah revealing his nakedness. But a lot of times we can reveal ours too. And there's a lot of times when we focus on things in the flesh, we end up feeling worse. It's like yesterday morning, I promised Brother Glenn I'd go. And then Saturday night or Friday night, I started getting sick. And by Sunday morning or Saturday morning, I had a pile of Kleenexes on the floor. And I felt rough, and I thought, God, I said, I made a promise to two people. I said, and I intend on keeping my promise. And I said, I feel like if I keep my promise, you'll take care of the rest. And the sickness left. It left, and it's like only God can make you when you're blowing your nose to where you got a pile like that in just a short period of time to nothing. But a lot of times we want to focus too much on the flesh. We want to talk about what's wrong with the flesh. And I kind of a lot of times I look forward to, I love to teach Sunday school, but a lot of times it's like, I know when I get to teaching that my pain, I'm not even going to know it's there. It's like I feel so much better. But if we could learn to do that more often, Brother Don, instead of sometimes reaching in the medicine cabinet, if we reach and grab our Bible, or maybe if we turn on a good gospel station, if there is a such one anymore, if we turn one on and find, listen to some good gospel music or some CDs we got, and if we focus on, they got a thing that women sell nowadays, it's called pampered chef. But too many times we as a church, we've got pampered flesh. We want to pamper our flesh and throw a pity party because we're hurting, or say, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that, or, I think I'll just stay home tonight. And a lot of times if we're not careful, we pamper our old flesh. And, that's like if Randy would pamper me, I'd probably keep wanting to be pampered. And that's the same way with our flesh. When we pamper it, it's going to continue to expect it. Sometimes we got to learn how to tell it no. We got to learn how to put it into place. In Genesis chapter 9, starting at verse 22, it says, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and he told his two brethren without. A lot of times somebody else don't even have to reveal our nakedness. We reveal it ourselves. And as I sat there talking to that brother, here I am in the house of God. I'm in a place where miracles happen. And here I am, we're sitting here talking about our ailments. And it's just like God put me in check just like that. And then I looked and here got Brother Ben with his Bible. I thought, oh Lord. I said, you've already got me, you're going to get me again when he gets up there. And it did. But, you sit and talk about all the things that's wrong. And before long, you notice you feel worse than what you did when you started. Like, I don't know if it was Brother Glenn or Brother Johnny said one time that somebody told somebody, boy, they look bad. And before the day was over, they had done left work sick. So you look sick. Before the day was over, they looked sick. But it's like when I get up here, And science has figured this out. I want to read this excerpt. I Googled it to see if I could find it, and I found the story. It says, CNN, the next time you habitually search your bathroom cabinet for some pain medicine, you may want to consider, and leave this next part out, playing a video game. Put in reading your Bible, praying, listening to gospel music. We've got CDs here of the messages. Put one of them in, listen to it. It says, first, research has shown that psychology plays an important part in how we experience both acute and chronic pain. And painful sensations can be manipulated by what we think and feel. It's like what he told me right back here. What he told me right back here, science is starting to figure out. And like when kids are starting to get stitches, they're starting to put VR glasses on them to show them something, to get their mind off what's going on. So instead of giving them pain medicine, they're taking their mind off of what's going on, and it relieves their pain. So if the world can do that with worldly things, if we put on the mind of Christ, how much more can God do, Brother Don? If we get our mind off of our flesh and get our mind in the mind of Christ and stay in the mind of Christ and get in one accord with the Lord and start doing something for the Lord. And you know, a lot of times we say, oh, we feel so bad we can't do nothing. Maybe that's when we ought to get up and try to serve somebody else and do something for somebody else. Like Sister Martha. You remember when Sister Martha got the Holy Ghost? She went up to pray with somebody else. She started doing something for somebody else. But see, that's what Satan does. Is with our flesh. He don't want us to do nothing for nobody else. He don't want us, you know, if he can get us throwing a pity party about how bad we feel, he can cut our prayer life down. He can cut our church life down. He can cut our service to God down. But if we learn to put God first, God can still, you know, like I said here, I'm in a house of miracles. I'm in the house of God. And here, I'm sitting here talking about all my problems. I ought to be talking about my problem solver instead of my problems. Amen. And you know, this is something been on my mind, but last night I got put in check. You know, you're apt to want to talk to people and, you know, to talk. And you end up talking, you know, saying stuff like that just to have something to talk about. Maybe sometimes we ought to just not talk so much. Speaking for myself. Because if we ain't got nothing good, you know, if we can't say nothing, the Bible talks about our tongue being a grace seasoned with salt. Maybe sometimes if we can't do it, we ought to just keep it quiet. And, you know, I thank God, he says he'll chasten those he's loved. I thank God that, you know, he not only chastens me, that he loves me, he chastens me because he loves other people. And he wants me to be a brighter light in front of other people. And, you know, if we're always talking about what's wrong with us, if you're a sinner, and you sat and listened to me talking last night, you reckon you want what I had? Probably already had it. You all probably already got aches and pains. You want to know about the one that can take care of it, not about the one that's causing it. A lot of times we talk about the problem causer instead of the problem solver. And you know, last night I got to say, I'll tell you, man, I was guilty of it. But it says, and Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. You know, they didn't want to see his fault. And Noah woke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall be unto his brethren. You know, there was a curse put upon him because what he had done, he went and revealed his father's nakedness. You know, sometimes we put ourselves in Ham's situation. We go and reveal our own nakedness. Sometimes our mouth's so big, speaking for myself, that we don't need somebody else to go reveal our nakedness. We reveal it ourselves. And I tell you what, if we're revealing our nakedness, we're not modest, Brother Don. Yeah. You know, we need to learn to talk about the problem solver, not the problem's causer. You know, the devil's got enough people doing his bidding. We need to learn not to do it. We need to start learning to do God's bidding, to do what God wants. And I tell you what, when we get the mind of Christ, we'll start seeing a lot of our pain leave. We'll start seeing a lot of our problems leave. You know, a lot of times why a lot of things lingers is because we linger on it. We make it welcome because we sit around and talk about we got to point people to Jesus Christ, not our problems. God's able to take care of all our problems. But even in our problems, He's still on the throne. And we need to be lifting Him up. He said, if I be lifted up, He said, I'll draw all men unto me. And I was talking about if He lifted up, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm going to stop. In John, here's the scripture, here's next. In John chapter 12, 32, 32, 34. I'll let you get there. This verse is talking about a natural. But I started thinking about it as a spiritual this morning.
Was that John 12,
32 through 34. Let me scoot up a little bit that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. John chapter 12, verses 32 through 34. Jesus said, if I be lifted up from the earth, will I draw all men unto me. This He said, signifying what death He should die. What were our old bodies made out of? Made out of the earth, wasn't He? So here Jesus is saying, if I be lifted up from the earth, they had lifted Him up on the cross. He said, I'll draw all men unto me. Put it this way, that if I be lifted up from the earth, because these old bodies come from the earth, if these old earthly bodies are lifting Him up, He said He'll draw all men unto me. Not unto me, unto Him. He said He'll draw all men unto me. Now you look last night, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. How much drawing you reckon God's going to do? He ain't going to do nothing. Whose fault was it? The world wants to say it's the devil's fault. My fault. My fault. My time. My fault. But Jesus said, if I be lifted up from earth, this old body is an earthen vessel. If He'll be lifted up from these bodies, He'll draw all men unto me. But what we ought to be telling is what God's doing for us. And then, somebody sitting around listening, that's when God's going to draw. God ain't going to, people ain't going to be drawn to pain and sickness and problems and heartache. People are going to be drawn to the problem solved. Right. And sometimes we're revealing our nakedness and we're making people turn their head. You go out in the summertime in Walmart, it's a wonder I don't get whiplash because it's like you go walking through and you got to constantly turn your head because of the way people are dressed. If we're not careful, that's the impression that we'll give sinners. We'll be revealing our naked, spiritual nakedness so much that they've got to turn their head away from what's right. And if they turn it away from what's right, they're turning it away. Or if they turn it away from what's right, they're turning it away from what's wrong. And I don't want to point people toward what's wrong. In Romans chapter 8, verses 4 through 6, just 3 verses, it says that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For they which are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but things that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. If we sit around and just dwell on our problems all the time and what's wrong and what's hurting, we're kind of being carnally minded, Brother Don. Yeah. Because we're forgetting the one that's able to take care of it. And you think if the world could take away a child's pain, doctor, when I was a kid, if he'd pull out a needle, I'd just break into a violent scream. I was scared to death. But if they can put on a set of VR glasses and that child's going to know he's going to get stitched up, and they can take away his pain, they can take away his pain just by changing the course of his mind. If we change the course of our mind, what more can God do? That don't mean we're not going to get healed every time we ask for healing. But God can ease our pain. God can take our pain away. And God can help us focus on things that really matter instead of things that bring us down. The Bible talked about poor and afflicted people. It also talked about many are the afflictions of the righteous. The Bible says, but the Lord delivereth them from it all. Some He delivers down here. Some He'll deliver on that day when He takes the church away. But we've got to learn to focus and get our mind on Christ. And it's so easy. Devil's smart. And I'm not bragging on him. I'm just telling the truth. He's not smart because he turned his back on God. But as far as deceiving people, he's smart. He's been in this a whole lot longer than we are. And it just takes something little to trip us up. If he can get us feeling sorry for ourselves, or get us focused on how we feel, guess what? If I'm focused on how I feel, I'm failing you. Because I'm not thinking about how you feel. I'm more worried about myself. And that's what the devil wants, is he wants us to get us thinking about ourselves and not one another. And I tell you what, when we stop thinking about one another, we're not far from backslide. We are backslide. We may not be all the way out. But if we're not thinking about our brothers and sisters, we're backsliding. And I tell you what, we need to move back up, and we need to put on that helmet of salvation. We need to put on that mind of Christ, and we need to get focused into God and doing God's business. I tell you what, Brother Don, I tell you what, I've went to work at Pepsi where I've almost had to crawl in the door. I've went to work with kidney stones because my family was dependent on me. I couldn't lay out of work. I couldn't miss work. I tell you what, the church is dependent on us too. And I ain't telling you, if you got a kidney stone to come to church, I'm just saying we've got to start putting the church ahead of ourselves. Just like our natural family. I tell you what, we didn't miss work because we knew they was dependent on us. We need to start praying more. We need to start fasting more. We need to start doing things that keep our mind on Christ and on doing God's work. Satan will constantly fill our mind with something that's wrong, or somebody else's problems, or what somebody else is doing. We need to get our mind on God. And we need to cover up this whole natural man, Brother Don, and let Christ be shown. Let the robe of righteousness be seen. I tell you what, he said we'd have a robe of righteousness, but how many people see it? I tell you what, I don't think mine shined a very good light last night. Yeah. People says, well, not put yourself down. I believe in telling the truth. I don't believe in standing and acting like you're high and mighty when you make mistakes. I made a mistake, and it didn't make me look good. And I tell you what, when it don't make me look good, it don't make the Lord look good, because I turn people away from what's right. We've got to learn. We've got to learn to do better. I've got to learn to do better. But we're so apt. It's like, that's Wednesday night. Mine's running together, Brother Don. The whole church world is against us, but God is for us. What we stand on, everybody's against us because we're not like everybody else. But God is for us, and that's the thing we need to focus in on. If so many people in the world are against us, there evidently must be something right. There must be something right. God said if he be for us, who can be against us? There's nothing that can stand against him. You look what the men in the Old Testament done with the jawbone and the donkey. The things that went on. That's the same God that we're serving. The same God that parted the Red Sea is the same God that we're serving. The same God that was with David when he fought Goliath is the same God that we're serving. The same God that was with Gideon is the same God that we're serving. The same God that was with Jacob, Isaac, that's the same God we're serving. He's not changed. He's got the same power. He's got all power. Yes. And I tell you what, we need to start leaning toward that. I tell you what, we're too apt, Brother Don, to go to the old medicine cabinet to pop something for a headache instead of going to the one that created these old bodies. I tell you what, if he created them out of the dust of the earth, there ain't a doctor, there ain't a pill, there ain't nobody that can fix them like he can. A lot of times he's the last one we run to, but he needs to be the first one we call upon. A lot of times we give doctors more credit than we do God, because we'll run to the hospital before we pray to God. I said, Philippians chapter 2, verse 4 and 5 says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. And that's what Satan wants, is he wants us to feel sorry for ourselves. I got a whooping last night from talking about my problems, revealing my nakedness. And that's what Satan wants, is he wants us to look on our things and not look on the things of others. And I tell you what, if you're so worried about how you feel or what's going on in your life, you're not worried. You're not looking out for others. Like Sister Martha come up, praying for somebody else. Like I said, she got the Holy Ghost when she come to help somebody else. I tell you what, we want God to move in our life. Maybe we need to move out and help other people and think about other people. In Matthew chapter 23, verses 26 through 38. I'm sorry, these are filled with a lot of 1 and 3 verses. It says, thou blind Pharisee, Cleanse first that which was in the cup, and the platter, and the outside of them may also be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but within are full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, also that outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. How many have ever picked up a dark-colored glass and getting ready to pour you something in it? It had crud on the inside. See, once upon a time, the church board would decorate up the outside. They would clean up the outside. Nowadays, that's not even needed. But, you know, it's the inside, man. You know, like I said, I thought Brother Glenn, man, he's losing his edge when he said that. But it wasn't he was losing his edge. God was just wanting me to come out into deeper waters. That, you know, I was so focused on all the outside stuff. And don't get me wrong, the outside stuff's important. But it's the inside. When the outside's lacking, it's a direct result that the inside is lacking. Because something is lacking on the inside, it's because the outside change hasn't been made. It's because we've got to speak to the inner person. And I tell you what, a lot of persons, you can tell who you're dealing with when you start talking to the inner man. A lot of times that inner man will puff up and let you know that there's something wrong. Brother Glenn tries to correct me on something. If I puff up at him, that's a sure sign that something's wrong. Somebody's preaching or teaching the Word of God, and you get puffed up on the inside, right there's your first sign that you're lacking on the inside. That I'm lacking on the inside. 1 Samuel 16:17, Brother Johnny mentioned this the other night. It says, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, on the height of his stature. Now there Saul was head and shoulders above everybody else. And everybody thought, you know, he could have probably won this battle because how big he was. And you know, everybody focuses on the outside. But I tell you what, there's a lot of deception comes from wolves. You know, like I said, a wolf's not going to come in here dressed awfully bad. They're going to come in just like one of us. The deception comes from the inside. It comes from the mind. It says, because I have refused him, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. You know, you look up here and you think, well, he's dressed like him. He's dressed like one of them Christians. He's dressed like he probably ought to teach Sunday school. That's how man looks at it. But God says he, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but God looketh on the heart. But here's the heart. And I tell you what, if people that quote this verse to justify their flesh knew exactly what it meant, this verse ought, if we ain't right, if we ain't thinking right, it ought to scare the life out of us. Because God knows the very thought, the very intent of our heart. You know, when you get, like I said last week, if you're driving down the road, somebody cuts you off, and you may not have said it, but you get mad in here, God knows what you're thinking. You know, Brother Glenn's preaching, and you get mad about what he says. You may sit and smile and act all fake, like I told somebody one time. I said, you come back. And they said, oh, I'll be back, I promise. We really had a good time. And I thought, I ain't never going to see them again. You know, they couldn't hide it from me, but you know, maybe somebody they fooled. But God knew exactly what they was thinking when they were saying that.
You know, one time, there's a man come to church, and he had on a uniform. He was a sheriff deputy. He come into church, sat in the back. When he got an opportunity, he got up and testified. Talked about, he said good things. And after that, he'd come back once in a while. And he was interested in one of the young girls in the church. And I got a knock on my door at the house. And this lady said she wanted to talk to me if I was the pastor here. I don't think I was a pastor then, what Brother Doug was. But anyway, she come in, she wanted to talk to me. And come to find out that this was her husband. And he was coming home every night, just like he was married. He's coming here to church. He's interested in one of the girls here. But the thing about this, see, nobody knew that. That's just what I'm saying. People can appear, just because people say, I love the Lord, you know, but down inside, what their intents are, we can be deceived by that. And that's what we have to watch out for. You know, God, you know, we're watching for spirit things that's coming in, you know, but we gotta watch what comes in our mind too, see.
That's right.
But, I mean, he's a likable fella. I mean, he's a really nice guy. And later on, I guess he went, and it's years later, they got caught up in things with children, and he ended up going to prison.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous thing to play with God.
Yeah. And you know, you think they're not gonna come in mouthy. They're not gonna come in mean. Like Brother Lynn said, I thought about that. They're gonna come in, they're gonna act like a good person. Fine feller. Fine feller. He's a fine feller. How many times you call somebody a fine feller, and then you end up pulling a samurai sword out of your back? They wasn't fine all along. Devil don't come in mean and showing all the qualities of who he is. Said that he'd be transformed even to a minister of light. Means he's going to look like a wonderful guy. But he's not going to do wonderful things. He's going to be out to hurt people and harm people. And you know, maybe in some aspects, maybe I'm a little too untrusting. But I've been burnt before by people, and I don't want to be burned again. This church has been burnt by people before. And you know, I know can't do things that Brother Ben does, that's his job, but I want to help watch. And if I see something, I want to blow the horn on it. I want to let him know. I think that's my job to be son. You know, if I seen somebody getting ready to break in my house as a kid, I'd run to my dad. I'm not going to try to handle it myself. You know, a lot of times we're not equipped to do a job, and we want to try to handle it ourselves. We need to run to Dad. Brother Ben's the bishop of the church. We need to run to him and let him know. Say, hey. And you know, if I ever see something, and I don't care who it is, and I see it's trying to hurt the church, I tell you what, I ain't going to be a bit backward about blowing the trumpet on you. Because this church is my life, and I don't want to see anybody creep in and hurt anybody. I don't want to see nobody get dragged off by a wolf or get hurt. And you know, those wolves, all they're worried about is building a number for themselves and building up their flock. They ain't caring how people live. They'll let people slip in and do whatever they want as long as they come in and their parking lot's full. And people can see, oh, you got a big crowd. You must really be a man of God. I tell you what, in these days, a man of God ain't going to have a big crowd. But I tell you what, he's going to have a holy living crowd. He's going to have a holy living crowd. Yeah. It may not pack the house. Holiness ain't going to pack the house. But I tell you what, it will pack the house with. It'll pack the house with the fruit of the Spirit. It's going to run out the unfruitful works of darkness because it's not welcome in God's presence. But I tell you what, it's up to us to cover it up and put it out. Not like last night, I revealed my nakedness before that man. And Brother Ben said, here I am talking about my problems instead of the problem solved. But we've got to grow up. We've got to grow up. It's like my dad. I don't know that I've ever heard my dad. You know, I've seen he's probably in worse physical shape, bodily wise, than any working man I ever known. But you know, I might see him move and go. But as far as to sit and talk about being in pain, never. Never. I pulled in the driveway and I've seen him walking like this, and he see me and he throw his chest out, so I didn't know that there was anything wrong with him. You know, we need to learn to keep our ailments a lot of times to ourselves. You know, a lot of times, sometimes in our prayer requests, we say things that, you know, could make other people worry, or we need to say, you know, God knows the need. God knows the need. Say, I need prayer tonight. I need prayer. Or come up and get anointed. You know, but a lot of times we bring other people down by making them worry so much. And we just say need prayer. And you know, when we get, I talked about what you told me about when we get in the Spirit, you know, we don't feel so many things. Like when I got here, my shoulders was killing me and I can't feel pain in my body right now. You know, science has come up with something, the medical field's using something now, Brother Lynn. They put VR glasses on children when they're sewing them up and doing things to them because it takes away their pain because they get their mind off of what's going on and they get their mind on something else. Think about it, church. If we get our mind on Christ, if the world can do that, what can God do? If we get in the mind of Christ, if we start walking in the Spirit. And to me, that just confirmed what you said, which I already seen it was true. But you know, science ain't no dummy either. They'll try to divert you But if they can make a penny off what's right, they'll make a penny on it. But if we get our mind off our problems, God can move in our life. A lot of times God ain't moving because we built an unbreakable wall of our problems that we don't think He can do anything. Because we're too busy, woe is me, and oh, sad day, instead of saying, telling people about what God can do. It says in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 10, to whom ye forgave anything, I forgave also. For I forgave anything to whom I forgave it for your sakes. I it in the person of Christ. Here Paul was telling you that there's things that I can't do except I do it through Christ. We need Christ. We need that road of righteousness. We need the works of God. I come from a system that preaches you cut the grass on Sunday, you're going to hell because you broke the Sabbath. But the Sabbath, God rested from His work, and He rested on the seventh day. The Sabbath is the Holy Ghost, and that's us resting from our works, from anger, lasciviousness, malice. And it's entered into God's works, into His rest, into the Holy Ghost, and the fruit of the Spirit. I had a guy tell me one time, he said they said something about the preacher. He preaching about you cutting your grass on Sunday. Somebody was cutting their grass on Sunday, told them they was going to go to hell. I said, they just traveled a Sabbath day journey, which was a half a mile in the Bible. I said, he drove much farther than that to come to church. I said, he's preaching one thing and breaking at the same time. I said, that's not what the Sabbath is. Brother Glenn and Brother Don are probably the only two here, if that was the case, that could come to church.
The day that we're living in now, every day is our Sabbath day.
Right.
We're
Every
going to
day's
be holy every day, not
That's
just one day out the week.
Right. That's right. And a lot of things back under the law taught them was a schoolmaster. Like the day before the Sabbath, they had to gather, that was the only day they could gather enough food. The other days they had to gather just what they eat, and that taught them to live by faith that day. And then on the day before, they had to gather enough for the next day too. If they did it any other day, it'd go back. But it taught them that they had to prepare, and it taught us to prepare and trust in God. And that's what God was trying to teach them, was to trust in God. And that's still what He's trying to teach us, is to trust in Him. But too many times we trust in the old flesh, or we trust in the old bottle, not alcohol bottle, but like some kind of pill or something. Too many times people trust in that instead of trusting in God. And I'm like Brother Johnny. There's medicine that unless God can heal us, that we need to take. But too many times instead of praying first, we leave God as our last option instead of our first option. I wonder how it makes them feel. My kids, think about if your kids would, something that you were supposed to be asking, and they ask you, and they feel like they kept running asking some other kid's dad because they didn't have no confidence in you. I wonder if that's how God don't feel. That feel like that, we're running asking everybody else, but we don't ever ask Him. And this is a growing thing. I was looking at Brother Glenn, and we don't get it all over day. And something a while back I seen, and I'd had a preacher mention to me that he done something. And I really never thought anything about it. And I come to church, and I seen Brother Glenn. I said, he doing that too. And I seen Brother Johnny, and he was doing it. And it's something you don't think about. And I look, Brother Don's doing it, look, Brother Mike's doing it. I got one on, I've started to try to do it. It's like you don't realize, it's like your shirt is that undershirt. And I didn't realize, and the man said, he said, a man, a lot of times he said he needs to wear a double shirt. He said, because things can be revealed by not doing that. And it's like I come to church and I looked at you and I looked at Brother Johnny, and now it's like I look and it's like now it's like it learned to me that, that man I was trying to learn something that, there was more things. So like I would, and my belly, where my belly's sticking out, you noticed I'm kind of round. It'd be sticking out, my shirt would be a little tight, and it'd make it pop out. And I'd see my belly. And then here I'm sitting there going, and I kind of agree with the ways of the camp meeting one time, and the guy was preaching, he said, if you've got the huggy, tuggy, he said, you're overriding the Holy Ghost. And I thought, yeah, you're right. And it was at the time, Brandy her dresses wasn't very modest. And she said she had been sitting back there tugging a little bit to try to pull it down because it kept riding up. And he said, if you've got the huggy, tuggy, he said, you're overriding the Holy Ghost. He said, you need to put some length on that thing. And it wasn't in the truth, but, it was the truth. And it's like, I get thinking, if I'm constantly, my shirt's constantly, if somebody sees it, I don't want anybody to see my belly. So it's like, I got muscle shirts, and I've been wearing my muscle shirts underneath. That way, I tuck them in. That way, if the shirt would happen to come up, I don't show my back or my belly, or if it pop out. And it's like I never thought about that before. But, as we go on, God teaches us more. You think, well, I got this base covered. And then all of a sudden, here comes something else sliding into home that you've got to get covered up. You don't see it. But, that's the same way with the inner man. You may think, I'm a good person. And, to the natural eye, you might be. But there might still be something on the inside. I guarantee there's something still, because ain't none of it's perfect. There's still something on the inside that we've got to work on. I really need God's help, God's helped me so much with my anger. But, I made a purpose to up in my mind. I'm going to cut back on my shot I take. Because when I first get it, the first couple of days, it makes me really, really moody. And I've really got to watch that my flesh is under subjection. And I'm going to cut it back because I don't want to be moody. I don't want to be snappy. I don't want to be grouchy. I don't want to be anything other than happy. I might be a little bit more tired without it, but God's able to take care of that too, Brother Don. It's laying in bed thinking, it's like, if that's making me grouchy for a couple of days at times, it don't make me really grouchy. It just makes me edgy. And I don't want to be edgy. So the next time I get my shot, I'm going to knock my nose back. It says, 1 Peter chapter 3, 1 through 9. I'll let you guys turn there. There's about 9 verses here, so it'll be a minute.
Repeat what?
Chapter 3, verses 1 through 9. We've got to keep our eyes on our faults and our problems and keep looking, keep desiring a closer walk, keep looking to help other people, trying to help the church. It says, likewise, you wives, be in subjections to your own husband, that if any obey not the word, that they may also without the word be won by the conversation of the wise. That's not only what you talk, that's how you live. If you don't live a good, clean life, you're not going to win nobody. But like Sister Debbie, I believe Sister Debbie, I believe her husband's probably watching her constantly, the things that she won't do. And I believe that brings conviction in people's life when people live a good, clean life in front of people. But I tell you what, if we don't live a good, clean life, it's like last night. If some sinner would have been listening to me, they said, boy, all the problems he's got, I don't want no part of that. But it's our conversation. And I'll be first to say shame on me. I know better. That hadn't been on my mind, but last night, I guess, being in my mind hadn't put me in check quick enough. I got a little abrupt nudge. And then Brother Glenn turned his Bible to, oh boy, I said, I'm going to get it done. And I did. God gave me that nudge, and it's up to me now to change that. It says, while they behold the chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it be not that the outward adorning of plaiting the hair and the wearing of gold and putting on apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart. See, you can dress yourself up to look beautiful before the world, but that's not what wins people. That's not what wins people. You can make yourself look like, what's her name, Zsa Zsa Gabor, all decked out. But that's not what's going to win people. People aren't won by your outer beauty. People are won by the inner beauty of Christ. When Christ is in us, that's what wins people. It says, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price. See, these were ornaments of the flesh But God said, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the ornament of the Spirit. What's inside you. That's what sets us apart from the world. You know, you people, I've been to church my whole life, but I ain't never been to church with people like you all. I talk about you all when I'm here. I've talked about Sister Brenda for years. I talked about Brother Lynn. I talk about people. I was talking about Sister Debbie last night. I've never been in church with people like that before. And, you know, I don't mean to offend somebody, but I mean, the truth's the truth. You know, if you know, somebody would hear that and say, well, you know, but, you know, I see a lot of people come to church looking all glamorous, but I didn't see Christ in a lot of people. You know, I not only seen Him, and I've said it before, when I walked through that door, I felt something I'd never felt here. I've been in churches in Kentucky, West Virginia. I've been in big Pentecostal, supposed to be Pentecostal churches up in Huntington. And I've never felt nothing like I've never felt anything like I felt here. Never. When I come in. And it was because there was something in the people's lives. They were decorated on the inside. There was a change on the inside. It says, for after this, the manner in old time, holy women also who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own wives. That don't mean the women's a slave. Yeah, I used to tell Brandy, I'd say, Sarah called Abraham Lord. And I'm in it. I was a self-righteous, arrogant pig. I was. That's what you call taking the Bible for your own use. Now we sit, and am I the head of the house? Yes. But do we sit and talk things out? Yes, we do. Do I value her opinion? Yes, I do. Guess what? Because there's a lot of times she's right. Sometimes she thinks a little deeper than I do. And it takes both of us. It takes marriage as a joining of two people. You know, God don't expect a woman, you know, He expects, you know, He said, help me. That don't mean somebody, you know, just to cook and clean the house. He took her out of the side to be a friend, to walk beside you. Not behind you to be your slave, and not in front of you to be your ruler, but to be your side, to be your friend. Not one step behind you, not one step in front of you. Beside you, right there in the ribs where the woman comes from. So help me. Someone to help, a suitable help. It says, Lord knows I probably never thought I'd ever said that. But even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as you do well, and not afraid, and to be amazed. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't really somebody that, you know, my wife would have wanted to submit to with my attitude and the way I acted and the way I treated her. You know, it's easy to submit under your authority, Brother Ben, because I don't feel like you make yourself a lord or a ruler. I feel like you've made yourself a servant. It wasn't easy to submit under me because I was mean and grouchy. And I thought, yeah, I was a little rooster. I thought I was the head rooster. It's not easy to submit to somebody like that. But you know, God had to humble me down. He had to bring me up. He had to bring me down and let me know that not only was my wife my helpmate, but I'm her helpmate too. I'm to serve her too. That means that if laundry needs done and she needs help, she don't feel good, it means I ought to get up and help her. That means if she don't feel like cooking, if she's sick, and I feel good, that means I ought to get up and help her. I ought to do something for her. You know, I've seen where women be sick of her dog and her husband say, go get me something. My wife's not my slave. She's my friend. She's my friend. But you know, too many times we say, well, back in the old days, a black person wasn't even allowed to get on a bus either, so we want to go back to that. I mean, honestly, people, back in the old days, people back in the old days had faults too. Well, I tell you what, my mom did this for my dad. You know, maybe old dad wasn't so nice to old mom. Maybe that's why old mom didn't smile very much. But you know, that don't mean slave. Help me. Help. That means you work together. You know, I'm a helpmate. I'm a helper to Brother Glenn. I'm not his slave. I'm there to help him. I serve underneath him as he serves underneath Christ, and that means we serve together. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them accordingly in knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto a weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that the prayers be not hindered. And you know, some people may not like that, but you know, it's truth's the truth. If your wife's sick, why would you make her do something and you sit back on the couch and drink a glass of lemonade? Why wouldn't you want to help her and, you know, be your friend? If somebody's your friend, you want to look out for them, you want to help them. It says, not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye thereunto called, that you should inherit a blessing. You know, Brother Bill said so many times, you want to get a blessing? Be a blessing. Be a blessing. Do something to help somebody in the church. You know, everybody says, how many, you guys got miracles going on down there at the church? I think I'm going to start answering them. Yeah, I tell you what, I was a miracle. I was once a drug addict, an alcoholic, and no good husband. I said, God's changed my life. Yeah, there's miracles going on every day. I said, my pastor, they found him, God found him in Greenham County Jail. I tell you what, he's a miracle. You know, there's all kinds of miracles going on now. People are chasing healings and chasing this and chasing that. I tell you what, I want to chase righteousness, Brother Ben. I want to chase something that's going to make me a better person. I want to chase something that's going to convict me like it did last night when I was sitting there talking. Nobody said a word. Nobody put me in check. Nobody admonished me. But God just gave me that little nudge. And I knew, I've got that nudge enough. I knew what it was. He didn't have to do it twice. But you know, I say shame on me when it was going on in my mind the last little bit that I didn't pick up on it quicker. It says, Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 12. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Put on part of the armor of God. Is that what it says? It says put on the whole armor of God, don't put on the whole armor of God. Why? You know, sometimes we need to put on more of what we got. Sometimes we just got a little helmet on. Maybe we need a little bigger helmet. You know, sometimes, you know, things get kind of rough. And, you know, I think that armor and stuff, they polish it. And that way when they polish it, it makes it slick. And when something hit it, it would bounce off more. It says put on the whole armor of God. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. His might. And the power of the Lord. Not our power and not our might. It says, put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and against powers and against rulers of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. You know, all my life I've heard a natural message preached. What we need, Brother Ben, is we need something spiritual to put the natural in check. Colossians chapter 3, verses 10 through 16, and I think it's the teens are in. I'll finish with this. It says, we have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created us, which therefore neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond or free, but Christ is all and in all. Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, forgiving one another. If any man have quarrel against you, even as Christ forgave, you forgave also. Brother Buck, our attitude, and I just walked by you right there, I've just revealed the old naked Adam nature, haven't I? But yet people that says, yes, I got holiness. Church holiness goes way beyond how we dress. If you're not speaking to somebody, that's not holy. I tell you what, if you're picking at somebody that just come into church because they're not doing everything that you think they're doing, that's not long suffering. You're standing, old Adam standing naked before the church. If I get up here and say, Brother Adams, I tell you what, you've been here a year, it's time you start doing that, you're not seeing the nature of Christ. You're seeing the nature of Adam. You're seeing the old naked Adam nature.
Yeah.
Christ was long suffering. It's easy for me and you to say, God, I want you to be long suffering with me. But if God was as long suffering with us as we are with other people, would we be happy or would we be scared? I think maybe sometimes we'd probably be scared out of our pants or scared out of our dress. And say, oh God, I want you to be more patient with me than that. You know, treat other people what you want from God. If you want God to stay with you and help you, you know, I was in a false way, teaching false doctrine. To me, I was the lowest form, because I knew better. Not everybody out there at the time, I didn't know better when I first started. But there was a point when God revealed it to me. And to me, I was the lowest form of human being out there, Brother Don. I took even some of my own family and I baptized them in the mother road. I false baptized them in a false way. So to me, I give them a false hope. So to me, I was the lowest form of human being out there. But God still dealing with me, Brother William. God kept speaking to me to tell me to come out of where I was at. I tell you what, that's the kind of long suffering we need. And I tell you what, you may not like bearing with people. I tell you what, maybe God didn't like bearing with me either, but He done it. And I tell you what, I come out, there was fruit to come out of His long suffering. And I tell you what, if we learn to be long suffering with other people and quit letting the old Adam nature rear up and get mad and tell you what, I think they ought to do this, they ought to know better. You don't know what they ought to know. You don't know what they ought to know. I tell you what, I had a preacher tell me about running water. So according to most people, I should do better. But I didn't until I was on my way to Tennessee when God revealed it to me. Just because somebody's heard something don't mean how long did Jesus walk with the apostles and disciples before He opened their understanding. Sometimes people got to walk a while before their understanding opens. I tell you what, learn to be long-suffering with people. I tell you what, you don't go out. How many of you ever went out and planted a seed in the garden and then the next day went out and kicked it up and said, stupid seed, you ain't ever going to come up. No, you wait and you keep watering and before long you partake in the harvest. I tell you what, if you want to partake in the harvest, we need to keep watering just a little bit at a time. Because the potatoes, I planted my potatoes too early one time, and they got too much water and they rotted. Sometimes we're guilty of watering people too much and they rot. And it's our fault because we put too much on them. Sometimes we need to suffer with people and go with them and let them grow at their pace, the pace that God knows they're able to handle. Say, well, I tell you what, I grew a lot faster than that. That's you. That's not them. Let them grow at their pace, what God knows that they can handle. God said He'd not put more on them than they can bear, but He'd make a way of escape. He is that way of escape. God knows what they can handle. You may think I can handle something, and God knows I can't. We need to think it. We got a problem thinking too much. We do. We think too much. We need to learn to depend on the Lord. The Holy Ghost ain't there to make us think. It's there to teach us how to think, to let it lead us and guide us, to show us what to say. You know, I might get up and say, well, I'll tell you what, this really needs to be spoken. But God knows. You know, there's something going on, I got to get up and speak on it. But I believe Brother Lee's got to preach something. He knows something. I believe he's got to pray about it. And I believe he's got to wait for God to be working on the other end before he gets on it. You know, if we're not careful, we'll end up with blood on our hands. People say, well, you sinners don't listen, you got blood on your hands. Well, I tell you what, if I get up here and I hurt one of you and myself, and you go turn away, I've got blood on my hands. I'm fearful when I get up here that I'm going to say something to hurt somebody. But church, we've got to grow. We've got to learn to keep that Adam nature covered up and not let it be revealed. Let it buried. But too many times we've got a spiritual shovel and we want to dig it up because it's easier to do that. But I need to shut up because I've had nothing to do.